this one. Alright, so we did say that this one is a difference of two squares. Alright, now if we look at factorizing a difference of two squares, like I mentioned, there are two ways in which you could do this. So let's look at doing the typical quadratic factorization technique. Yeah. So okay, so that's based on recognition of the form. If you immediately look at it and you see a difference of two squares and you can tell, well, okay, this is a squared term and then this is also a squared term, then from here, once you could identify, well, what was being squared, your completely factorized form will just be, like I would say, the square root of x squared, which is x, and the square root of 169, which is the 13. And because it's a difference of two squares, what's going to happen is that one of the binomials will have a positive 13 and the other will have a negative 13. So this is what a difference of two squares looks like, completely factorized based on recognition of that form. But if we're going to do it the method with identifying the coefficients, let's take a look at how that would work out so you will know how it goes both ways. Alright, so we're going to start off as we typically do. Can you all identify for me A, B, and C? Oh wait, I have it on the line thing. Alright, yeah, can you all identify for me A, B, and C in that quadratic expression? Oh, no, not question 5, question 4. We're using the quadratic technique on that, yeah. A is 1, So when B is non-existent, when there's no middle term, as you said, B is non-existent, B is understood to be 0. Alright, so that is probably why some people would be like, what's supposed to do with this thing? And they might try to do highest common factor instead and realize, ooh, we get nowhere because they had no common factors in the first place. But yes, B is 0. Okay, B is 0. And then finally, C. 169. Don't forget the minus. Those signs do be important. Alright, so minus 169. Alright, let's see what Jaden has to say. Yes, lovely Jaden, minus 169. Okay, what do we do from here? So we just looked at how we use that quadratic technique. Anybody wants to tell me what we're going to do now? A by C. So I know I'm hearing, as usual, I hear certain typical voices and see certain people popping in the chat, which is good, but I have some silent voices, you know, don't really hear them people. I hope I hear them this time, you know. So A by C, 1 by minus 169. Minus 169. There we go. There we go. Alright, what do we do from here? Anybody, what do I do from here? So just remember, it's the same factorization technique that we were looking at earlier. Alright, so Nadira, yes, something by something is going to give me 100. The minus 169 starts the same way. Always remember that this is something like I was mentioning earlier, right? When I was correcting assessments, we did these types of things in class, and some people, I don't know what happened to them, like, because they see different quadratics, they're like, oh my god, what is supposed to do with this? But it's the same thing, okay? It's going to be the same procedure. Once you understand what the process is, you'll be able to do that. Alright, so let me just see what was that last piece. Yes, that's correct, Nadira. That is correct. The second part is going to be when we add the two factors, we have to get 0. When we add or take it away, we're going to get 0. So we're going to talk about that now. So don't worry. It might have you feeling a little thrown off right now, but you'll see how easy this is. Okay? It's just like before. You just need to be able to identify the pair of factors that's going to give you this minus 169. Alright? So tell me, what are the factors that will give me 169? Lovely, and she got the signs correct one time. It's a minus 13 by a positive 13. That's the only way I'll get a minus 169. Alright, so this is minus 13 by positive 13. And then if I take minus 13 and I add that to positive 13, I will get 0. So, Kyla, although the 0 was throwing you off a little bit, you realize that once you're able to identify the factors that give you the minus 169, you'll be able to get this piece out. Alright? So far so good? So far so good? Alright, lovely, lovely, love to hear that. So, we're going to do the thing we did before. Alright? Just like every other quadratic, we're going to break it up. That middle term is going to be broken up. So we're going to do x squared. Now, the middle term was a 0, obviously. So what we do is write minus 13x plus 13x, because this middle term here, when you add together that minus 13 and that positive 13, you're going to get back the 0. But we needed this to help us with doing our factorization by grouping. Alright? So now that we have this here, like I would say, I think a lot of people get really thrown off with some of the quadratics simply because it does not look very familiar to them. But this is something that you should be very familiar with, because I believe from Form 2 you all would have picked up factorization by grouping. Alright? So this piece now, we're going to factorize, and you all should be able to recall. We're going to, split it down the middle there and ask ourselves what will be the completely factorized form of each of these. So go ahead, anybody. X. Lovely. Alright, 13 is the common factor. There you go. There you go. Alright. So, see what I was talking about, how signs can sometimes throw us off slightly. So always pay attention to that, right? That's one of the reasons why you want to make sure that you're very, very, very familiar with your directed numbers. Okay, now that we have that, so you'll notice then we have the x and the 13s all over the place, but the only thing that differs here versus the perfect square is that inside here you have negative and over here you have a positive, so you have a different sign. Alright? Okay, what next? There we go, x plus 13 by x minus 13. Like that. Yeah. Alright, let me just neaten up them brackets. They're like that. Looking like a big X in the middle there. Alright. So we get to go. Okay. So, look at it again. You'll notice x plus 13 by x minus 13. Same thing here, same thing here. Right? So, the procedure gives you back the same answer that you can get if you do recognition of the form. So, it's up. Which one? This particular one here. This is your typical factorization of quadratics. It really... people is for just what ABC method, because you have to recognize the coefficients. So yeah, it works. Alright, and for some people recognition of the form works even better. So you just need to know where your strengths and weaknesses reside, and you pick a path that's going to work best for you. Okay, if you're going to be thrown by the 0, all right, which is, you know, slightly anticipated, try to be able to recognize the forms. All right, so just give me a minute.